Welcome back, guys. It's Coach Jameson. Today I want to go over a nice little sequence to help open up and lengthen the hamstrings a little bit, something we carry a lot of tension into due to the fact one of the main things is sitting. Again, when we think about a sitting position, we know everything's kind of stuck in these 90-degree angles. So we know like hip flexor shortening, hamstring is in the shortened position. And we think about it, it's been since probably around the age of 4 for most of us that we've been sitting in a chair like religiously. Of course, you know, we're as little babies in car seats and things like that have started molding us into certain positions, but we've all been sitting in a chair from probably the age of 4 up through high school and college. And then even if some of you are in a career where you're at a desk all day, then this is probably a really tight position. So I'm going to just show you a few different movements that we can sequence together in just a few minutes. So it's something you can input multiple times a day if your hamstrings tend to give you a lot of trouble. So let's start on our butt. We're going to start with a forward fold on the floor. And so what I want you to do, try your best to find your sit bones. Think of maybe pulling your butt flesh back just a little bit to find those sit bones on the mat. From here, we're going to actually start by bending the legs. This position I'm going to put you in will kind of carry over into a couple of our other hamstring movements. We're going to set a timer. We're going to just start here for about a minute and a half. And if you're short on time, we can shorten these movements. If you have more time, we can add a little bit more to them. Obviously, the more time, the better. So let's start. In this position, I want to think of trying to get my chest and my belly against my thighs here. And then from here, I'm going to fold forward. I'm going to start my time. And so we have the choice. We can either walk our feet forward or we can walk our sit bones back. But the thing I want you to notice is my chest and stomach are staying glued to my thighs. So some of you, that might be you're here, and as soon as you start trying to walk out, you're going to find that end range and that tension into those hamstrings. So we're going to hold. Again, you're going to go as far as your body allows into this forward fold position. I'm thinking of pulling the back of my knees to the floor and folding. And then lastly, that head will fold forward towards the shins and release. You're going to hold here again for minimum minute, 2 minutes. More is better. 3 minutes will be your extra credit. So if you can get and hold this for 3 minutes, for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter. I want to give you a front view just so you could see where my feet are. I have them separated, and we're thinking a little baby internal rotations here. If that's a lot and you get any excess tension when trying to find that internal rotation, just let the legs kind of go where they want. So I'm going to start chest, stomach glued to the thighs, walk my feet out, hold, fold forward. You'll notice I'm pulling my toes up towards my shins. And then we're going to focus on nice, easy breaths. Big inhales through the nose. Releasing gently through the mouth. Another thing here with folding forward is we will be collapsed into this front side. So it's going to give us a good opportunity to pull breath into this back space. Think of little water balloons back by like your kidneys, even up between your shoulder blades. And as we inhale, think of trying to expand those. Picture expanding them in your head. And then as we exhale, drawing that belly back a little bit, finding a little bit more room on this hip crease. Maybe we can get a little bit deeper. And then as we inhale into that back space, you can see that expansion happening back there. All right, we're going to pull out of that. That's time. Again, anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. Now we're going to come into a tabletop position. Just right after that, I want you to just go into a few rockers. So our toes are going to touch, heels out, our common rocker position. Knees can be anywhere a fist width to 3 fist widths apart, whatever feels best for you. If you want to go extra wider, that's fine. If you want to stay narrow, that's fine. And we're just bringing some movement into the hips, knees, and ankles for a minute. I want you to have some yoga blocks nearby for this next position. You don't need them. I just like having them to give us a little bit better and more comfortable access to our next position. So our next one, we're going to actually step our left foot forward. I'm going to grab my blocks. I'm going to bring my left foot forward, and I'm going to get a little bit wider between my foot and knees. My foot and knee. I want a decently wide stance. I want this knee stacked right over the ankle. We're going to focus on keeping a nice strong foot. I'll give you a front view of that in a second. Left hand is going to pull back here at the block. Right hand's going to come forward, maybe just inside that front foot. And then again, chest, stomach, glued to this front thigh, and I'm gonna start pulling this hip back and out. So I'm gonna think of a little bit of external rotation with my shin and thigh, and then lastly, I fold my forehead towards the shin. Again, we're gonna hold this for time. I want minimum a minute, upwards of 3 minutes. So after a minute or 3 minutes here, we're gonna take this into more of a dynamic movement, a little motion as we stretch into it. Some things you can play with though while you're here. Again, like I said, I wanna show you that front foot, so we're keeping a strong second toe straight, arch maintained, really rooting to that outer edge. As I pull the hip back, we can play with opening here, or if you wanna play with maybe a little bit of internal rotation, kind of see where you get a better pull across the line of tension of the hamstring. Again, totally dependent on your body. Next, we're gonna take this into a movement now. So we're back, we're lengthening into this hamstring. Now what I want you to do is inhale, we'll come forward and we'll make a little rocker out of this. Exhale, pull this hip back, sit, try to find a little bit more length. And we're just gonna do that for about 30 seconds after we finish our hold of 1 to 3 minutes. Let's go right into the other side real quick, just so you can see the view of the right side from the opposite. Again, left hand is gonna pull forward just inside this right foot. My right hand is gonna pull back. We can even play with tensioning and pressing into the blocks a little bit to maybe give us a little bit more length into that right hamstring. Chest, stomach glued to this right thigh. Pull that hip back. Root into that outer edge of the foot, fold the head forward and hold. I'm still thinking of my nice 360 breaths or decomp breaths with an emphasis now of trying to find expansion into the backs of the ribs, sides of the ribs, upper back shoulder blades. And you're not frozen like a statue here. Make any sort of adjustments that you need to throughout. Change the arms to where you feel more comfortable. Start moving forward. We inhale, exhale, pull back and open. Let's get this last one. Inhale, we come forward, step that right leg back. Again, we'll come into a little set of rockers here just for about 15, 20 seconds. Give us some more motion into the hips, knees, and ankles. Our next motion is going to be a squinge, and then we're going to finish and take it into a traveling drill. We're going to take it into a bear crawl. Good. From here, we're going to tuck the toes. I want you to give yourself a little extra space for these. So think minimum 2 fist widths between the feet. We can go upwards of 3 to 4, depending on what feels best in your body. Kick my butt back. I'm gonna come into my nice deep squat. Again, if you don't have full access to this with the heels down, it's okay. You don't need to have access to this position. If you do, you can work full squat into our full forward fold or hinge. If you don't have access, I'm gonna show you how we can play with different ranges. Blocks or any sort of elevated surface is going to help if you don't have access to your full forward fold, straight legs, palms to the floor. So if you don't have that, that's where we're going to use blocks. I like using blocks either way, even though I can reach and access palms to the ground. I'm actually starting on the second setting, and you're going to notice I'm going to walk my hands forward. That way I can get my hips way, way, way back. I want you to pay attention to my knees as I go into the squat, and to pay attention that my knees aren't driving forward, pulling everything into this front space, keeping the knees back even as I start to squat. And I'm just going to work a little quarter squat first, keeping the tension back, and then right back into my forward fold. Inhale, open squat. Exhale, forward fold. It's one of my favorites for opening up hamstrings. If you have access, you can go deeper, or as I said, if you have that full access, we can go full deep squat. Right back up, keeping those hips back, forward fold. At your own pace. Again, this is something we're going to set a timer, go anywhere for 1 minute, upwards of 3 minutes. The slower and more controlled you go, the better. I don't want you speeding these reps up. I want you to try to slow down, really working the shins and thighs opening when we're down in a squat, that rotation going out, up, and in as we hinge and forward fold. Good, this is gonna take us now, right when you finish those reps of 1 to 3 minutes, then we're just gonna take this into a nice traveling drill. So let me move my mats out of the way. And all we're gonna think of, just to make it really simple, and so you're not over analyzing this movement, is imagine just being in your forward fold and then taking that into a crawling motion. So it'd be like our bear crawl, a little bit different than our jaguar, not as tough. And again, I like using this to focus on pulling length out of that backside. So I'll come into my forward fold. I like walking my hands forward just a teeny bit. Heels will stay up, and then it's gonna be right hand, opposite leg, so left foot. Now this is gonna be my loading side. I'm gonna try to pull this hip back and up to the sky, step opposite arm, opposite leg. And this is as slow as I want you to take it. Again, there's a lot of different variations of this. I'm really trying to walk my foot that's coming forward, get it as close to that hand so I can pull a lot of length up into the sky. Same thing back. And that is our bear crawl, another way to kind of dynamically open up those hamstrings. So go ahead and give that whole sequence a shot, anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes with all of the movements. Again, if you're short on time, we can shorten them up. If you have some extra time to give your body a little bit more love and care, extend up into that 3-minute mark. I'm Coach Jameson. Go ahead and give this a shot. Let me know how it feels on those tight hammies.